All right, maybe you've come to this channel, you've come to love player development, you've come to find out it could do a lot of positive things in the lives of your athletes, and you're like, you know what? I understand its importance, but my coach or administrator does not, and I need to pitch player development to them. Well, this is the perfect episode for you. I'm gonna tell you the three main areas where player development can help your program. Inside those three areas are three ways it will intentionally impact the three areas of player development. So 3 times 3 is 9. You'll get 9 things that will help pitch you or help you pitch player development to your administration. All right, before we get started, let me introduce myself. I've been doing these videos, haven't been introducing myself. My name is Ed Jones. I'm the founder of Beyond the Field Player Development, where we help people impact the lives of athletes through plans, programs, and initiatives. I was in the role at Houston, Kansas, and Baylor. I love player development. This channel has 72 hours of content. And so we're going to get to this and help you. All right. Number one area that player development will help that you can tell your coach or administrator, it's the players. Player development is going to help the players. Now, the three ways it can help players are leadership, mentorship, and communication clarity. Now, with leadership, a lot of people say leadership is more caught than taught. I believe you still can teach it. You can still teach it because all the leadership that's caught ain't good leadership. So you can teach effective and productive leadership. Mentorship, right? With the players, you got players come from these different places. You can create mentorship programs or initiatives to help your team come together. Mentorship has helped every single person who has done something in the world. They've had a mentor, right? Good or bad. We want to get good mentorship though. But here are 5 ways you can create mentorship in your program. Player to player, that's an older player with a younger player. Former player to current player. Coach to player, staff member outside of football program or athletic program you have. So it could be athletic department to player, and then player to the community. So you can create that mentorship ecosystem in your program. And the last one is communication clarity. We know most coaches, we have some coaches that are still baby boomers. We have Gen X, I believe we have millennial coaches, and then we have a Gen Z locker room, right? And communication can go like that. And so player development could provide the communication clarity that is needed. When I was in the role, there were certain situations where our coaches told our players something, players were like, man, he thought that is not what he said. There are some when players would say stuff, coaches would be like, man, that is not what he said, right? You can provide that clarity there. Those are 3 areas that really, really help. Now, before I go to the second main area player development can help, I am taking all of this from a book I wrote called The Head Coach's Guide to Player Development. It's really the coach's guide to player development. It is $5. You can download it today. Download it today and we'll give you all the information you need to make a successful pitch to your coach because the book is written to coaches. Thank me later. All right. The next area where player development can help is program or staff. It can help your program and your staff. This is huge for coaches, right? You told the coach, hey, it's going to help the players. Coach is like, hey, yeah, you know what? I like that it's helping my players. Boom. And you say, hey, it's going to help our program and staff. They're like, hey, it's going to help our program and staff. Now we're talking. Here are 3 ways it's going to help your program and staff. Academics, insight for coaches, and insight on team morale. Everywhere I was at Houston, Kansas, and Baylor, I was academic liaison. You have someone that could be on your football staff who is the connection to the academic staff. I work with some great academic staffs. With that said, our coach could not spend that much time with them because he had to win games, right? So I was that person. I was that bridge talking from our coaching staff to academics and from academics to our coaches. That's communication clarity too, because some of our coaches be like, what is academics trying to do? And I'm like, hey, this is what they're trying to do. Or academics be like, what are the coaches doing? I'm like, hey, this is what they're doing. But you have someone who's academic liaison for you. Insight for coaches. This is huge. When I was in the role, I was able to tell coaches good or bad insight. There's one story I love talking about. We had this one coach, he had a young receiver who, was kind of, 707 was tough. He's a high recruit and he wasn't finding his groove. And so the coach was talking to me about it. I say, hey, coach, I just want to let you know that he has more volunteer hours or more community impact hours than the rest of the entire room. And he's only been here for 2 months. And so the coach used that. He said, thank you so much. He went to the meeting room and said, hey, I want to give a shout out to so-and-so. He's doing a great job. He is in the community, and why are y'all not there? And this helped the player because the coach spotlighted the player in front of all his teammates, and the player's confidence went up off the field. And if it went up off the field, his confidence went up on the field. He started making plays. It was great to see. But that was insight that I had for the coaches. All right, and the last one is insight on team morale. Insight on team morale. Now, I'm going to tell you this story about my time at Baylor, but this happened at every university I was at. I would bring suggestions, and sometimes I was not heard. It is what it is. I understand it. You know, my deal is I was always going to bring a suggestion. I wasn't going to sit at my desk and be like, man, I knew we should have done this. No, I let you know. And if you decided to go with it, you did. It didn't. Like I said, it's happened at every university. But I want to tell a story. At Baylor, I had so during fall camp, every team takes their team out during the second or third week, and they're going to take them paintballing, go-kart racing, to a water park, to go out and eat, just to get them out of the heat and from hitting each other, right? So the players were like, hey, Ed Jones, they started looking. I saw them in the morning. They started looking, ooh, look at what, look what they doing at Texas Tech. Ooh, look what they doing in Nebraska. Ooh, look what they doing in Miami, right? Because they got all these teammates, friends, things like that. They're like, hey, Ed Jones, we want to go to a water park. And it was consensus. I'm talking freshmen up to seniors. We want to go to a water park. That's all they wanted was a water park. So we had a meeting. We were preparing for this day. I go to the meeting. Hey, I just want to let y'all know the players want to go to the water park. Boom. I let them know. We have another meeting. Hey, just want to let y'all know players want to go to water park. Hey, can you check out bowling? Can you check out this? Just want to let you know players want to go to water park. We have another meeting. Hey, before we make a final decision, I just want to let y'all know the players want to go to the water park. Got it. Thank you, Ed. Perfect. I found out we're not going to water park. And I'm like, ooh, this ain't going to be good. So we go to the team meeting, and our players are hype. Water park. We got our biggest player, Polynesian player. He's waving his shirt in the middle of the room. Water park. Our coach gets up there and says, hey, guys, we're not going to water park. Boom. Room goes down. You could have heard a pin drop. I tell our director of ops, hey, this ain't going to be good, dog. So anyway, we go out there. We go to practice. We have 3 of the biggest fall camp fights I've seen, and the tension was there. Those guys, after they heard they weren't going to, water park, they were a lot of corrections going on. Hey man, let's go. We gotta get to meeting. They were lagging behind. Now they shouldn't do that, And I was telling players like, let's go. It ain't what you wanted, but let's go. Anyway, we get to practice. We had 3 of the biggest fights. I'm frustrated. I'm sitting there man, what are we doing? We had an NFL GM there because his daughter played on softball team. And he was there. He was at practice, and I'm talking to him. This is going on. I'm just like, man. But anyway, time goes on, and players are frustrated. I'm frustrated. We ended up going to walk-ons, and I remember sitting at the table by myself. I was just so mad. The players are mad. I was like, hey, I know they want a water park, but I made another suggestion. Let's not take them anywhere. Send them home. That was crazy. But insight on team morale. Yeah, I was frustrated at a lot of people that day, players, staff. It was bad. But I had insight on the team and the team morale. What would build the morale? It wasn't listened to, like I said. That happened at every university I was at. Definitely not singling out Baylor University. All right, if you're hearing all this, you're like, man, hey, this is awesome. Can you help me with my pitch, though? I want you to help me with my pitch. I will help you. There's a link in the show notes that says, here is how player... No, not here. There's a link in the show notes that says, here is how Beyond the Field can help you. Click the link and I will help you with your pitch. All right, the last area you can use to pitch to your head coach, to administration, whoever has the funding for this, is external relations. This is everything that happens outside of programming. There's 3 main areas where the external relations, player development can affect these external relations, and those are your campus, community, and alumni engagement. So with campus engagement, I was a liaison for housing. I knew everybody on campus, all our tour guides. I knew people at the library. I knew people at the rec. I just knew people everywhere. And you can have someone who has all these relations, because once again, everybody wants to get to that coach. And you can be a person that's responsible of saying hey, coach, whoever comes to your desk, I got it. And campus is really good. You want the campus behind you. You want them to show up. Once again, you got to be there for campus events. I had conversations with student organizations. One thing I love we did at University of Houston, and we took it with us to University of Kansas, was student practice. We did a student practice. It was always good to go talk to student unions and student organizations and say, hey, we need you. But I was able to do that. Player development is able to create campus engagement relationships. Community engagement. Once again, I've talked about this in detail. You want their support. Are you supporting them? Supporting the community is huge. And player development, you can have someone who's a liaison, meeting with those people who are already doing the work in the community to create the change that you want to see. And then lastly, alumni engagement. I am going to do a podcast episode on this. I've been talking about this for 3 years 3 years. Wow, man, this podcast has been going. Y'all know we have 72 hours of over 72 hours of content. 3 days you can binge out on player development content on this channel. We are your go-to source. But I've talked about this for a while, and I'm actually going to do a podcast episode, so be on the lookout about alumni engagement. With alumni engagement, you want to build, maintain, and expand. Build what you have, maintain, or build what's not there, maintain what you have, and then expand it to a new level. But you are the one who can get to those players and former players that are in the program and say, hey, we want you back. We value you. Come on back. Let's go, right? And not only just your former players, but even former alumni of the university. When you go to a bowl game or home game, there are former graduates of your university, or even if you're a high school coach, or a high school program, there are graduates that left your school who are sitting in the stands, engaged not only former players, but alumni overall. Those are 3 pivotal external relations that you can tell your coach or administrator during your pitch for player development. Once again, if you need help with your pitch, like I said, hit that link in the show notes that says, here is how Beyond the Field can help you. All right. Now, another way you can get help, and maybe you could pitch to your coach or administrator, is to get you some professional development money to come to the Player Development Summit, which will be May 29th through the 31st here in Kansas City. I am so excited for this. I was at the venue today. You can check out a video up here about all the good stuff, but I am so pumped to have you all here. I want to see you here. We will have speakers from the NFL, NBA, other sports leagues, college athletics. It is going to be something that you do not want to miss. I want to see you there. Well, that's all I have for today. Let me recap the 3 main areas. If you're making a pitch to your coach or administrator why you need player development, the 3 main areas that it will impact are the players, the program, and external relations. Hope you have a great one. Check out this video down here. YouTube says that's the best one for you to view. And if you need help understanding the benefits of player development, check out this video right here. As I always say, go out and create generational impact. Don't wait, create that generational impact today.